Hey everybody, it's Pajama Life with our review of The Last of Us, The Pitt, and Daredevil Born Again. Let's go.
Everyone, hands in the fucking air!
When I was a kid, I thought God had given me a special destiny. I used to believe I could carry it all. The guilt, the pain. I was wrong. I always tried to save my city from darkness. My mistake was thinking I was immune to the darkness.
You can't carry this city on your back alone. Man, even the devil needs saving sometimes.
Just one of those days, I guess.
Oh, there we are. And it's us, Pajama Life. It's a dynamic duo this week. Our buddy David won't be joining us, but we wish him a happy Easter. But with me is this guy, the guru of all things Marvel and Tolkien. Say hey to everybody, Patrick.
Hey, everybody. Can't wait to talk about this stuff. Got some really good stuff to talk about this week.
All right. And I'm Pajama. And here we go. Pat, talk to us about, give us some story about your Marvel knowledge on Daredevil Born Again.
Well, this is kind of continuation, obviously, of the Netflix series, because we've gotten the same actor, Charlie Cox, back to be Daredevil. Mm-hmm. And they did a really good job of taking the Frank Miller run, because Frank Miller, who did the Dark Knight sequence, I mean, he's one of the better writers throughout all. He's kind of a big deal when in some of these comic book worlds. And he's also done a lot of other stuff too, but he's kind of a big deal. Does really good stuff, kind of dark. I mean, obviously, The Dark Knight was a very dark story too, and the Daredevil's redemption arcs were really, really good. And he's gotten this good balance because normal people don't put on masks and fight evil. Even if they've gotten a superpower, which Daredevil's is a pretty low level superpower. It's just he can hear. He's got like echolocation. He doesn't see. So he can like a lie detector. He has a radar sense. I mean, but he was also trained by Stick, who is one of the people fighting the Hand. If you saw in the old one, really. So that's how he's gotten all this fighting abilities, coupled with his radar sense, which means he can see in 360 degrees all the time, which is how he gets this kind of feeling of being able to fight behind his head back. Never see anything. Super well done, and I really love the balance of the darkness and his redemption, and this whole series has been good, and it was really good. For those of you who have not watched the entire series, there will be a few spoilers here. To see Karen Page make it back at the end, for her reappearance, and the very serious tease of further series with this. You also got Frank Castle, another deeply flawed character coming back in, the Punisher, whose symbol has been in real life co-opted by a lot of the alt-right people now. You see the police, the Punisher logo. He started out as, the Punisher started in the late, I want to say the 80s, and as someone coming back from Vietnam, wife was killed. He took the skills that he learned in the military to take the war to criminals. His book was always war journal entry number 35, this date or whatever. It was always that kind of a thing. It was like he was doing a war against the people that killed his wife because the police weren't doing enough or whatever. So another deeply flawed character trying to do the right thing through the worst possible ways. I love this series. It seems to be one of those type of things that has a lot of resonance with the way things are. You see a lot of resonance in the things that people are still talking about. And like I said, they've even co-opted a lot of this stuff for different purposes or whatever. But, the idea that there is just a right or a wrong. People are either all good or all bad. People are conflicted. They, the majority of things they do is good. Hopefully, you consider them good. And sometimes people make mistakes. Even good people make mistakes. And you see that kind of happening throughout this whole series. This is a great example. At the beginning, Matt loses his mind in a rage because he just saw his best friend gunned down. Does some stuff that he spends the rest of the series trying to recoup from, and granted, it's violent, but it's a dark redemption story. So I do love this. And Charlie Cox, no notes. I mean, he's got that Daredevil thing down. Just he's playing it. He knows he knows things that people don't know that he knows. Really good. And just, you saw in that little clip, he's in the bank robbery. And these guys don't know that he's got the upper hand, even though, oh yeah, the blind guy, because you automatically just discount him. And so he's already got a +1 advantage on everything, because they're not even thinking about him going to fight back. But first off, he's going to fight back. He's going to fight back most effective way possible. Great storyline, great action. The acting Vince D'Onofrio still dripping evil as Kingpin. Man, this guy, he owned it. And he loses it, because he starts out trying to appear good, but even then he can't submerge his true nature, which was a villain, just like Charlie Cox and Matt Murdock couldn't submerge their true character as a person who saves people. So I mean, I love it, and it does stay fairly close to the book. I didn't like the very first episode, killing Foggy, but because he was always kind of a grounding character throughout the Netflix series. If you haven't watched the Netflix series, I would really suggest it's really one of the better things. And it's one of the things that made Disney really, to a certain extent, realize this is a viable medium to put their series into it, through the streaming services. So 10 out of 10, totally recommend.
10 out of 10, huh?
Oh, I loved it. It was so good.
Okay.
For a series, that was amazing.
Okay. It came back in the third act because I was completely done with this show and didn't like the direction it was going, and just kind of was like, not my cup of tea. And so it did turn around for me. I think that seeing the Kingpin, actually, that plan they had was amazing. And him and the wife are a couple of sharks, cold-blooded. God forbid, one of them if they get cut, the other one's trying to eat them. So, I mean, I was like, ugh. I didn't like the doctor. I didn't like how her character turned out, or Sheila. The mayor's I don't know, first assistant or whatever, she really disappointed me. And the I did like the police commissioner a lot. And so I'm gonna leave it there. You have to watch and see what happens. But yeah, and the Punisher coming in, John Barenthal, I mean, he's in everything. Great actor. He just crushes it every time, and he always has this like tortured kind of person. In The Bear, he was amazing. In The Accountant, he was amazing. This coming out with The Accountant 2, which we will review. I mean, the guy can just play these kind of people who, at their core, probably they have good intentions, but just are not good people. Because they do so many bad things.
You can't forget the zombie thing. What was it? Not The Walking Dead. That's where he really kind of came to prominence.
I don't watch
and it was the same thing in the early seasons. He was just a good guy who was just forcing the bad stuff, and he was just always kind of that.
Yeah, those
felt kind of
characters
weak.
choose bad stuff. So
Well, yeah, kind of weak sometimes.
yeah. So but that leads us into, I think we both agree that Daredevil Born Again is worth the effort. It was a little bit of an effort for me, but they turned it around. So I was okay with it. Pat loved it from start to finish.
Yep.
And so definitely this is definitely not for kids. I really feel like this is
We
one
just
of
saw
those
it in the
properties,
trailer, yeah, dropping F-bombs everywhere, yeah.
and the level of violence is like whoop. So definitely check out for adults Daredevil Born Again. And speaking of zombies, here we go with the second season of The Last of Us. Let's take a look.
You okay?
Yeah,
This is where we live. And what's that?
the fence.
What's inside?
People.
What's outside?
Monsters.
So what do you want to do?
Okay, so I just have an issue with this. One, this is just my issue, and then I'll talk about the show. I don't like zombie stuff. It's just gross. I don't like it. And generally, zombie stuff is not my cup of tea. And this is based on a video game. And so it's 2 strikes. And then strike number 3 is the main character, the girl. I don't even remember her name, but she is thoroughly the one who is immune. She is thoroughly unlikable, and I just can't see myself watching her with her bad attitude and snark and mean. I just don't like her character at all. I loved her in Game of Thrones, but this character is thoroughly unlikable, and it just prevents me from connecting to the story. And so I don't want to do it, and I don't recommend it. And then I think what was interesting though is how the monsters are changing, and so becoming more sentient maybe, and becoming more smart, or smarter, I guess I should say. And I wondered if that was because they bit her who was immune, so maybe they got some of their humanity back, or is this just a natural evolution of it? That kind of intrigued me, but then she started talking and doing stuff, and I was like, I don't even care. So it's kind of a no for me. But Patrick, I'm sure you love it. Let's hear it.
Well, I did like it. I don't know that I loved it because I'm not as connected to it as maybe I am with some other things. I never played this video game. I know a lot of people have, and have strong feelings either way on it, good or bad. But as far as the girl, she's a teenager. Teenagers are shitty. I don't, not to put too fine a point out. We were all.
No.
Oh yeah, they were. Yeah, they are for the most part.
No.
Especially people that have been through horrible traumas like this one. She's seen her world disappear. For her to have a bit of a bad attitude seems probably one of the better options she could have. So I'm okay with the bad attitude, and it does make her harder to like. But you know what? Your own kids are hard to like when they're teenagers. Sometimes you love them, but you don't like them all the time. Let's just put it that way. So. And the Pedro Pascal character, awesome. I'm excited to see this. It's well done for a zombie flick. I watched the first bit of Walking Dead, and it was okay. And World War Z again. The book was much better, but the zombie thing is a little played out.
Yeah.
Granted, this has a big following because it was a video game, and from what I've heard from people that have actually played the video game, it's staying pretty close. And there's some bad things coming up. They wouldn't tell me, but bad things. But that's the way the plot moves. So you can't just stay nice and happy in there. And you saw maybe the beginnings of it with that cracked sewer pipe at the very end scene in the first episode. But overall, I have no problems with the character development. It's age appropriate characters. I mean, if they're 13, they're 14, and they're trying to be adults, and they're gonna be everybody when they're 14 almost gets killed by their parents at one point or another. I'm just gonna tell you, I almost got killed by my dad, and I almost killed both my kids. That's just the way it works, because they all you just start thinking, man, look at my dad just sitting there, couch growing out the back of his head. Man, I could take him. And then until they stand up, and then you're like, oh, wait a second, maybe not. But you start getting that kind of, start feeling your oats. You start feeling like you're a man or you're a woman or whatever, and you start thinking, I don't need you. I know better than you. You're just old stuff. Every kid does it, so it didn't even faze me. Her bad attitude. Her bad attitude is absolutely age appropriate. Absolutely age appropriate for that age.
Because it doesn't propel the story in a way. That's my problem with it. It's so much that I couldn't see how, and her getting people killed, it's gonna be problematic. So, and I don't want to watch some kid making stupid decisions for 8 to 10 or 12 or however many episodes. Then you're like, oh, it's like Scooby-Doo. Oh, I wish you wouldn't have done it. I mean, I just can't. But I get it. Some people like zombie stuff, and smart people like me don't. So it's definitely a mixed review of The Last of Us, and I'm so glad that will be our only review of this. So up next is pre-zombies. No. In a medical drama in the Pitt. Let's take a look.
Morning, Jack.
You got the med students and new interns starting today.
Lucky me. This is the job that keeps on giving. Ulcers, suicidal tendencies, and nightmares.
Take the fucking nail out of my heart!
Hey, we'll make sure nobody's gonna die out there.
Is it always this busy?
No, it gets a lot busier.
There's a nursing shortage across the country.
That is bullshit. If you paid them a living wage, they'd line up to work here.
14
Alex, you've lost a lot of blood. You need to go to surgery right away.
Am I gonna die?
Not now that I'm here.
Easy.
I'm in.
Good, well done.
That was awesome.
Being here means no matter how good you are or how hard you try, someone might die. That's called being an emergency medicine doctor. Forceps.
Full suction. Med student down.
Welcome to the Pit. Let's go save some lives.
Oh, wow. Pat, what'd you think of the Pit?
Oh, I love this. And the format. The format is really smart. I enjoy the way they're doing it. Like 24 did, like an hour at a time, showing just one day and in whatever they're
and no sneaking off in the corners to grab a kiss with somebody. I mean,
well, it's not Grey's Anatomy. This felt gritty and real, and wow, just so nice to see Noah Wiley making it back, and now he's in charge. He's the Dr. Mark, that we had back in ER. He's the one running the whole show, and man, it's really well done. You get, if you think about it, you're only watching a shift. You're watching one shift of these people, and so you really get sucked in pretty quickly, because this is just day one for a lot of these people, and you're seeing all this stuff happen. And this is just Saturday or Tuesday or whatever day it was for them. This is what every day feels like to them. Some parts may be a little bit extreme, like they have a specific, thing that doesn't happen every day. But, wow, it's really good. I mean, I didn't even start watching this on purpose. I started before we picked it. I just happened to walk in and my wife would be watching it, and it just absolutely sucks you into it. And next thing you know, you're sitting there for 5 hours. So Bravo to HBO.
I watched it every week, and so the tension builds up, so you could see, what happens each time. And I didn't realize that the blonde head nurse, was also in ER. And there's a little bit of controversy with the show because it is ER was a creation of Michael Crichton, who did Jurassic Park and a bunch of other stuff. So apparently his estate is suing because they said that this is a one-to-one reboot of ER and that they didn't approve it. And so now, and it's got the same people, the same producers, the same set people, the same writers. So it's a bit of a controversy. I didn't watch ER, so I don't know the show, so I'm coming into it fresh. But man, Noah Wiley, what a great character this is. This dude for sure is gonna be up for an Emmy. If it's not, then the whole thing is rigged and they're dumb, because you can just see the pathos and the dread and the just total the scene where he has a meltdown. It's just devastating. And really it's just some Oscar level acting. I mean, for real, this dude is amazing. So I'm glad to see that they have anchored this show on such a powerful character. And Sean Hattasey, I think that's how, he used to be in those dumb, was he in American Pie? Or he was in some of those dumb 90s movies and stuff, and really kind of a goofy character. Now to see him as a fully grown adult and just an amazing character and a nice twist on his character at the end. And a bit of that the first episode, and you see someone in a very dangerous moment, and then at the last episode you see the reverse of it. It's someone in the same dangerous moment. That I was like, wow, this show is the writing is so fantastic on it. It's just the students, of course, I couldn't stand the little dark-haired girl calling the other girl Crash all the time. Like, ugh. By the end, I still didn't like her. I maybe liked her a little bit more. But the character who has a secret drug habit, I thought that was a really interesting way they tackle, substance abuse among doctors and professionals in that kind of environment. I thought that was really great. I thought they could have done without the whole medical emergency, the shooting incident at the end. I thought that was like, oh, that's too much. But I get it. It brought a lot of, real craziness into the show, but they were doing great before that. So it was really just super powerful. Let me give you a hint. Do not eat your dinner while watching this show. So much gooiness. So much gross stuff happening. Don't eat while you're watching this show. You won't be able to keep stuff. You'll be like, ugh, no thank you. But overall, I think Pat would agree that the Pitt, the writing, the directing, the acting, the hospital, the set is really incredible. So definitely, if you don't watch any other show on Max, check out the Pitt, which of course has been approved for a second season, and we're glad about that. And that will take us to our reviews for today. Next week, I'm super excited. 2 of the hottest things out. Sinners, we're reviewing. We're going to the movies and reviewing Sinners, as well as it's finally here. We've been so excited, waiting for a couple of years. Andor season 2. Oh, it's final season 2. We will review that next week. I think we'll just do those 2 because Andor is actually 3 episodes. They're doing something really different. They're doing 3 episodes a week. So it's a very short season. I think it's only 4 weeks, but it's like 12 episodes. So, and I wish they had stretched it out. I don't know why, but we'll be here for it each week with the triple threat each week. So, Pat, what are you thinking and saying goodnight to the people for this week?
Everybody, have a great week. Try to keep your heads up, those of you that are in harder places. And also, I know we aren't going to get to review it, but the new season of Doctor Who has started, and it is really good. So there you go. We should all be watching that too.
Yeah. Okay, Pat loves Doctor Who. I do not. It's a running kind of situation on the show. And for all of you who celebrated Passover, shalom. And for those of you who are celebrating Resurrection Day tomorrow, happy Easter, happy Resurrection Day, and amen. And we'll see you next time. Resist on Pajama Life. Take care. Bye. Don't forget to color those expensive eggs.